everybody. This is Eric Johnson. I'm here to discuss today Forrest Fenn and Barbara Andersen and where we're at with the Andersen case. I saw on one of the Fenn pages recently, someone had two questions. They said, first of all, they said, what is Barbara Andersen really trying, what is her lawsuit really all about? Who is she suing? And then they said, and where does that stand today? So for those who have not been informed of what's going on with Barbara Andersen, I would say, and I have some backup on this from my friend who is a retired attorney, I would say that Barbara Andersen's day in court with Fenn and the Fenn Estate are probably over. Now that's my opinion. Barb in the past has made comments on this page once in a while, and if she is certainly able to pop in and clarify what I'm saying if it's not true. But I did look over the opinion by the judge, and I'll go over it now. First of all, what has Barbara Andersen been trying to accomplish? Barbara Andersen has been trying to sue both Forrest Fenn when he was alive and the unknown finder, of which we're all familiar, or not. I mean, this was before she was suing the unknown finder after Forrest Fenn announced the find, and then of course she now wonders if the person in the medium.com article is the finder. Regardless, the point she's been trying to make is she believes her solve was hacked. She believes the finder must be the one that hacked it. She believes he has used her solve. She wants to know the identity of the unknown finder, and she also wanted to sue Fenn to make him give up the identity of the finder. Is that clear enough? I'm not a lawyer, so I'm doing the best I can, kind of with a layman's understanding of what's going on. So Barbara Andersen feels she knew where the treasure was, that her find was hacked, that the finder was the one who hacked it, and that Forrest Fenn was hiding the guy's identity, and she wanted Forrest Fenn to give up the guy's identity. She made it clear on many occasions she didn't like having to involve Forrest Fenn. Basically, she liked Forrest Fenn. I assume she still likes Forrest Fenn. Forrest Fenn, though, is dead now. So things have gotten a lot more complicated for anyone trying to sue the Fenn Estate. Forrest Fenn was the great arbiter. He was the guy that could confirm whether or not things were true or not. Obviously, if you believe there is in fact a finder, as Forrest has said, and I believe his legal counsel has indicated there was a finder, there apparently is a finder. At least that's what the Fenn Estate or Forrest Fenn before he died was saying. Obviously, we know he was saying that. He announced it. So, what has happened with Barb and her case? Well, on the 20th, the judge basically denied everything. I'll show you that. And here's the case. I'll have a link to it, of course. I'll have a link to it so you can read it. It's very legalese driven. I mean, I was so glad that I was given a synopsis of it, because this is what my friend said, and I appreciate it, because in the case you read a lot of things like motion to strike dockets 24 and 26 denied. Dockets are bits of information. They're past testimony or past information that's been introduced previously, and there were motions to strike certain dockets and things like that were removed. And I'm not going to go back and look up those dockets. So all I could really do was look at this whole thing and go, it looks like she didn't do well, because you see all the denials, right? I mean, everything is just denied, 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 denied. And so for that reason, I would say Barbara Andersen is basically done with the lawsuit she had with Forrest Fenn. Now, what I was informed by my friend was the court also told her, after they basically denied all of her motions, they said, however, you are able to come back if you so desire and sue the Fenn Estate, which is now represented by Zoe Old, the mother of Shiloh Old, who everyone knows Shiloh, right? He's the one everybody always thinks maybe went and retrieved the treasure. He's the grandson of Fenn, kind of Fenn's sidekick, I guess you could say. He did a lot of stuff for his granddad, very, very loyal to his grandfather. So that means right now, Barbara Andersen, as far as the case that we have all been following goes, all of her motions have been denied or deemed moot, meaning they're not relevant. However, the court has said she can come back now and sue Zoe Old. I mean, my personal feeling is she's done, because Fenn isn't even here now. So if it was difficult before and she just struck out down the line, I would expect she would do even worse. And what I was advised was the court, if you know how the courts work, when you have these kind of determinations made against you, and then they say, as they almost have to, well, you can come back, they're kind of saying, cool it. That was his feeling. Cool it. You're done. You're over. But I can't speak for Barb Andersen. Maybe she'll look at it and go, well, I'm gonna try a new angle. I don't know. One of the things Barb Andersen has tried to do is convince the court of her solve. And she has said that in interviews. I'm going to prove to the court the solve. And many people have pushed back on her. And one lawyer, one attorney, said in a number of comments, and I don't know if they were on my page or another page, he said to her, which made perfect sense to me, how would you ever expect a judge to make a determination whether your solve was correct when he has no understanding of what the solve is, right? I mean, if Forrest Fenn, or if the judge was privy to Forrest Fenn telling him, or somewhere it was in data that the judge had come across what the solve really was, well, then he could make a determination as to whether Barb's solve was valid. But what this guy said in the comments section, which I understood, was it's pointless to try to convince the judge of your solve, because the judge will always say, I have no reference point for your solve, so I will never be able to make a determination as to what your solve is. To me, it was kind of obvious. And that could be part of the reason that in the end she struck out. Barb has said fairly recently, although her posts and her videos tend to come and go, she makes them and sometimes I'll be alerted to that. Did you know that Barb has deleted all of this or that videos? I'll go, no, I didn't know that. I've watched some of Barb's videos, and then I don't necessarily go back, so I don't keep track of whether they're still there. But I do know Barb had said at one point she was still going to go down to Santa Fe. Oh, that's right. That was when she was posting stuff on my page, which she did since delete. And she was posting things like the Steppenwolf video of Magic Carpet Ride. It's a wonderful song. And she posted Sailing by Styx, or Sailing Away, or whatever it is. Come Sail Away, whatever. You know the song, Come Sail Away, whatever. She posted that, and it was kind of all over the place, her post. Well, those are all gone. So what she had said, though, nonetheless, was that she was still going to go to Santa Fe and live there, and that she was still following the chase, which I thought was, I didn't quite understand it. She said, Dale is giving us out clues from his blog site, and but then she deleted those, so I can't even go back and reference the comments to make sure I'm exactly right. But that was kind of a long line, so I thought, well, then that sounds like she's still looking for the treasure. I don't know what she's doing right now. That's just what I remember. And maybe she was, for all I know, she was kidding us. So that's where Barbara Andersen is at this point, as far as I can determine legally. Her case is over. It's been denied all of her motions. And she has the opportunity, obviously, to come back and sue Zoe Oldnow for whatever information or money, or I don't know what she would try to do, so I'll just leave it at that. Now, as far as Erskine goes, Erskine is stranger to me, and I haven't followed him at all because his case, you know, people, I say this every time, and I know Barb takes some hits from people. But I will say this, and I've said it before, the reason I've always supported Barb Andersen was because she was out there trying to do something. It was really that simple. I didn't really care to get into the merits of whether she was wrong or right on certain things. I mean, I talked about the idea of her proving her case of the solved location to the court, and I understood that her doing that was never going to fly, and apparently it didn't. But Barb Andersen was out there trying to do something with this wall of silence we're surrounded with now, with the Fenn chase. And it's not good that it's over, except maybe the only thing I would say is maybe she would go on to do something else, but I have no knowledge of that or no understanding of what Barb would want to do because I don't communicate with her other than what you see in the videos, in the comments. So my point is, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Is there a possibility of a class action suit? Because people have mentioned the fact that was there an implied contract when we bought these books? We were told there were clues and hints in the books, and that you could, if you gave it a good try and you just read the books, you had an opportunity to go out there and find the treasure. We don't know if that was true or not because we've never been told where the treasure was since it was apparently found. We've not been told the identity of the person. So in discussing it with a couple of different people, people have said, could there have possibly been an implied contract? When we bought those books, did any of us think, oh, you know, I can definitely find it because I'm going to figure out the clues and I'm going to find it. What if we were told the location and the location had absolutely nothing to do with the poem? Would that mean the implied contract where the clues supposedly took us to the treasure was invalid? Is that cause for legal action? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just throwing it out there. It's not the first time I've ever mentioned. It's not the first time I've ever mentioned it. Would it be possible for Barb Andersen or anybody else to wage a class action suit against the Fenn Estate to prove to us that yes, indeed, we had a chance if we bought the book? Now, my legal friend said it would be a real long shot. That was the way he viewed it. He did say, though, something I thought was interesting. He said, when you go into a case like Barb went in, as an individual trying to prove singular points for yourself, A judge is going to look at that a lot differently than if someone, a lawyer comes in and says, I represent 5,000 people. I represent 10,000 people. 10,000 people have signed a petition that they want to be assured that they did really have a chance if they followed the clues to find this treasure. And therefore, we need to know the location to prove there was ever a chance. I'm kind of extrapolating on what I understand, and I'm not an attorney, as I'm probably overstating at this point, but it's an interesting thing to think about, that if an attorney wanted to pursue this as a class action suit and sent out and received enough petitions from searchers and people that bought the book, perhaps there'd be a better chance of finding out what really happened in the end. Could be that in that case, the identity of the finder is not really as important as the location. Just to prove, yes, if you bought the books and figured out the clues, you really could have found the treasure. Common sense tells me that's a valid way to handle it. It's a valid legal challenge. I will say one thing in closing, and I hope that's kind of a good, concise idea of where the Andersen thing is at, because I do think it's over. And I wish her luck. If she goes to Santa Fe and she's still going after the treasure, I don't really understand what she was saying. And now Dale has closed down the blog site, or is closing it down. He's making all the scrapbooks available for people to download for a while. So if you want the scrapbooks and stuff, you need to go get them while you can. But you know, she could probably read the scrapbooks for a long time and still be getting information out of it. I want to say one final thing though. People had told me, have you heard this thing from K-Pro and Calazar? K-Pro and Calazar seem to keep a small group of people going. And they're always kind of coming up with intriguing or interesting information, and a lot of it's not, you can't confirm it, but it's kind of like, it's new and it's provocative. And the latest is, someone told me, and I went and watched part of the video, I believe it was on Calazar's page. I think I get a little confused because they have like, what, a treasure hunt? They have a thing where they have their own games or something that they're putting out, like treasure games. And then they used to have the Hint of Riches page. I don't know if that's still going or whether they're still uploading stuff to it. Anyway, this, I believe, was just a Calazar video. It was about the fact that they were saying that the finder has a lawyer now, has an attorney. The real finder has a real attorney, which is news, although it shouldn't really surprise us. I mean, if you think there is a finder, and Forrest said there was a finder, and Forrest's legal team said there was a finder, it certainly shouldn't be surprising that the finder has an attorney. But what did surprise me was their news was that the attorney had reached out to Barb Andersen. And I read that, and I had just gotten over understanding that the case pretty much had come to an end for Barb. So I'm not quite sure why the attorney would contact Barb Andersen if she's just been pretty much shut down, my words, and kind of told to go back to square one and go after the Fenn Estate in the absence of Fenn, who can no longer confirm anything. Why would they risk? Why would the attorney for the finder want to contact Barb Andersen and even get involved with her, right? Because what is to gain? I don't know. Like I said, the only thing I have to pursue is legal stuff. That is legal stuff, and if it's in fact true that the finder's attorney has reached out to Barb Andersen, I would love to hear Barb Andersen comment on it, not necessarily on this page, but anywhere. Maybe she already has and I missed it. Like I said, people will probably tell me, oh, Eric, yeah, she just commented on that. We'll find out. That's all I got for you, folks. Not a long series. Not a lot to say. The Barbara Andersen case she had going, at least, appears to be over. And I hope everyone has a great day. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming up in the future that's not going to be related to Forrest Fenn. I've said that before, but as I've always said, when Forrest Fenn things happen of a legal nature now, mainly, or if something comes out about the finder, or where the treasure turns up in an auction or stuff, we're certainly going to follow that. So everybody have a good day, and I hope everyone's doing great with the COVID, and we'll talk later. Bye.